Hey, change of setup, huh? I'm traveling a little bit, but I'm not forgetting about you, and today we're gonna review some news. Hey, how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. This is LuckyOne over here. The second wave of mobilization is going through Russia, and let's see how that goes through. The first wave of mobilization, we have multiple videos, and even speaking English, you can find those videos where people are basically trying to break their legs, break their limbs, anything. They're even asking people to have the HIV, because with the HIV, you're not going to be drafted to war. And I know how it sounds. I know that after this, you're going to be like, okay, I'm not listening to this dude. But still, this is what's happening in Russia, and you can find multiple evidence of that. Now, the second wave of mobilization means that Putin, this bitch, said that we need 300,000 people going to Ukraine and dying. When the dog is coming to you, basically, and hey, send your sons to war, they have to die. Okay. Turn on your brain. It doesn't work like that. What are you fighting for? The second wave of mobilization, in my opinion, is just for the people who are stupid enough to actually go there for the conscription, and they're like, okay, I want to go to war. Because you know what? Something that I didn't understand being here, the difference in between those people's opinion and my opinion is that I know that war is a real threat. Because I see that on the news in Ukraine every day. People dying, limbs are flying apart, you know. I see those things every day, and I know how horrible it is. And I know what threats are there. People in Russia don't have that because of the propaganda. Because the propaganda is basically telling them, like, hey, don't worry, everything's just gonna be it's just gonna be fine, don't worry. And they believe it, because the not signing the conscription document and having to pay the fee, or having to sit in prison for like, what is it, for like 2 months because you have been conscripted, you signed the document but you never came. Now this is much more real for those people than just dying at war. Dying at war is something, you know, something abstract. They're not actually thinking about that as of some kind of a big thing. By the way, leave a like and subscribe on this video, please. It really helps to the channel if you want to see more of me. If you want to talk a little bit, comment the videos. You already know that. All these people over here that you can see right now, they don't have the feeling that they're going to war. What they think is people are going to bring them to the shooting range. They're going to shoot. They're going to come back home. Surprise, they're going to be like, oh, I've been doing this. I've been doing that. I had the preparation. But by the way, Russian soldiers don't have preparations. They're actually trying not to talk about that. But still, you're not going to be prepared for war. Like, if you're thinking that everything's going to be okay, I'm going to know how to do stuff. No, they're just going to throw you to Belgorod, and then after that, you're going to go to Ukraine and die, of course. If what we see in Russia regarding the protests on the street, no one is coming out for the protests, right? Maybe they're coming like the less than 1,000 people for sure, and they're like, and they're holding hands and dancing. Woo, we want no war. No, you don't want to be mobilized. You don't want no war. And something that is happening in the parts of Russia that know what war is, like Dagestan and Chechnya, for example, they are having huge protests. So let's check what's happening over there. You hear there's someone shooting. Again, the same thing. They're not against the war. They're against the conscription. They're saying that this war is only for one person and we don't want to go there. How about not working on the consequences of the problem, but working with the reason, huh? Terrible things that are happening. Of course, he's shooting in air. They're not shooting any people. Those are just the protests that we don't want to give off our people. And then these people in Dagestan, they for sure know what mobilization is, what war is. And because of that, they're having those protests. Smart people. Why not? And this is the protest of women already. They're saying we're not going to give you off our husbands and sons. Yeah. Again, what they're saying is "Нет войне" is no to war. But again, you know what they mean? They mean I don't want to be conscripted. Right? And yeah, that's what basically happens. People are getting thrown in the police cars. That's basically everything that's happening. By the way, I'm filming this video on the 18th of October, so probably you have a little bit more information, but maybe I'm showing you something that you haven't seen, so enjoy. The next thing that we're going to talk about, Prigozhin. He has his own army, basically, that is under him. So he's that rich. ЧВК Wagner. In case you didn't hear about that, you don't have to. It's just not the regular army of Russia, but the army that is a part of... They're not even a part of Russian army. Those are just soldiers. Yeah. So basically, this is Prigozhin over here. He's sitting and he's basically talking over here to people. Now, something that you may notice about this people, they're missing limbs, right? They're missing legs. So what he's saying is, we're going to buy you prosthesis and then you're going to come back to war, right? And look how they react. Like, these people lost their fucking legs. Look at this. So he's talking to them like he's smiling. The dude is fucking crazy. So again, everything that they're discussing is like, how did you like being in the army? How did you like being a soldier? And they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. So he's like, we're gonna buy you the prosthesis and we're gonna send you back home. He said you're gonna come back home either safe or in the coffin. He's talking to the people that have already given his legs, their legs for it. And he's like, you're gonna come back, right? And they're like, yeah. Look at these people. They're miserable. This is what's going to happen to you if you're getting conscripted. You're going to lose the limbs. Do you want that? And believe me, being disabled or handicapped in Russia is a much different thing than being disabled in any other country. I mean, except of Zimbabwe. In case if you're disabled in Switzerland, right? There's everything for you. The bus stops. The buses are having this thing that opens up for you, and then you can roll on the bus, right? If your legs don't work like they used to before. Those are all like small things that are making your life comfortable, still knowing that you're disabled, but the country is trying to tell you like, hey, you're not different, okay? You're just like everyone else, which is pretty good. Now in Russia, of course you're not going to see anything like that, and of course everyone is going to look at you, and people know that they don't need this war. And whenever you're saying in Ukraine, whenever you're saying you lost a limb at war, you're a hero. But whenever you're saying you lost the limb at war in Russia, people are like, why did you fucking go there, right? Next news. There are the news that I found. I just find them pretty funny. Who's the best vendor of armory to Ukraine? It's Russia. Russia leaves more heavy weapons in Ukraine than any Western country supplies to Ukraine. Can you believe it? I can. The Russian army is throwing more military equipment and weapons into the battlefield and during the retreat than any Western country has transferred to Ukraine during the entire war. Now, we know that Estonia is like the best vendor of weaponry to Ukraine. Now, everything that's USA. It's not. It's Estonia. But still, reading something like this and then seeing the proof, you're like, what? Wait, what? Russia, like the best weaponry supplier for Ukraine? What? How is that possible? According to the analytical project Oryx, the Ukrainian armed forces captured 460 Russian tanks, and Western countries supply 320, 92 self-propelled guns, 448 infantry fighting vehicles, 210 from West, 195 armored fighting vehicles, and 44 missile systems. Like, and they're still in Russia, like everything that they're saying, it's all planned, don't worry. It's not the retreat that we're doing. What we're doing is we're luring them into our trap. State Duma deputy proposed to issue quilted jackets to mobilized. Because obviously, because of the corruption, they don't have proper things to wear, right? Parliamentarian Andrei Kolesnik proposed to issue quilted jackets to the mobilized as they cope better with the frost. The modern form. Now you might think like, it's actually good with the frost, it's better, and the winter is coming, you know. But it's actually not about that, because the quilted jackets in Russian language is called vatnik. We call vatnik everyone who has pro-Russian position and has pro-Russian political position that, you know, supports Putin, everything he's doing. So that's pretty fun. They're like, hey, they call us quilted jackets, so whatever we do, let's just wear them. Why not? The deputy voiced his proposal in the interview with the radio station Moscow Speaks. The form is not very good now, because it's not there. The materials, according to him, should be breathable and not this one, which turns into glass in the cold. Whatever you said, bro, it's just something funny that I found for you. And real fast, one more funny, and then we're going to the serious stuff about the bridge. The State Duma agreed to consider the accession of U.S. territories to Russia. Now, I know like 100% that this is fake. I can't believe that anyone would say that, but I'm sure you can you can find proof of this. If Americans vote to secede some states from the country that express a desire to join Russia, Moscow will consider such possibility. The opinion was expressed by State Duma Deputy Alexander Tolmachev. If individual states separate and vote to join Russia again, we will look into that, he told Podmoskovye Сегодня. Guys, in case you're watching me from USA and you want to join Russia, like, dude, referendums are completely real. You sign the document, I don't want to be a part of USA, now I want to be a part of Russia. According to him, it is important that voting takes place not on social networks, but officially and legitimately, as in Crimea. Legitimately, as in Crimea. Bruh. Sevastopol, Donetsk, Lugansk republics, Zaporozhye in the Kherson provinces. I am from Zaporozhye, and it's Ukrainian territories, okay? It is not... whatever. The next news that we're going to talk about is, yes, the Crimean Bridge. Now, in case you don't know what that is, and of course, if you speak English, probably you don't know, the Crimean Bridge is basically the main path of supplying the armory, the weapons, the rocket launchers, whatever. There's a video over here where tanks are going through this route. So it's very important for the Ukrainian part to blow that up, because if there's no more supply, there's no more war, right? Because you can run out of ammunition, you can run out of tanks, you can run out of everything if there's no supply. So this is a Crimean bridge that you can see. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. It happened 10 days ago. Because allegedly what they say is one of the trucks blew up, and here's a video of the truck being blown, but maybe it's not true. We don't know. It's like the official thing that Russia says. Yep, and it's going down. Again, I'm going to tell you why is it very important, because of the supplies. Right now, Ukraine has no purpose in killing the civilians or whatever that is. They are having the war as it needs to be done. And now it's not there. So it explains why Ukrainian people were extremely happy, extremely excited because of that bridge going down. It's not because like, oh, we're happy because something blew up on the Russian part. No, because this is a very important military object. You think of that as a bridge. No, it's a supply path that has to be blown. Now, this is what happened to it. And of course, we're excited and happy about anything that's happening to this bridge. And of course, we want something like this to happen to the bridge, right? Yeah, and that's basically it. So everything that you have to know is this is a military object. Now, this is what happened on the 10th of October in Ukraine. Now, before I'm going to show you this video, Russia claims that their rockets, of course, the best rockets ever, first of all, and they're very precise, extremely precise, and they're shooting only the military objects, which is obvious to everybody in this world that it's not like that, but still, they're saying that on the TV over and over again. Now, let's get back to the video.
Цель удара достигнута. Все назначенные объекты поражены.
This guy says the military objects. Look at this. This is literally the center of the city. Lvov, Ternopil, Ivano-Frankov, Zhytomyr, Dnieper, Kharkov. Those are all cities of Ukraine. Here's a map that you can see on your screen. This is the map of how many regions were actually stricken on the 10th of October. That's nuts.
Of the Ukrainian population and destruction of our life, our infrastructure, and our cities.
Yeah, this is what's happening in Zaporizhia, my city.
Чому саме такі удари? Ворог хоче, щоб ми
First of all, on the 9th of October, no, on the 11th of October, Putin, or it was the 10th of October at night, Putin says that we know that a Crimean bridge was blown up by Ukrainian part, and that's a terrorist act. A terrorist act. A terrorist fucking act. Who says that? The person that is fucking crazy and killing the civilians and giving the orders to kill the people who are innocent? That is a terrorist and blaming everyone else to be a terrorist. How dumb can you be?
8 октября – это террористический акт.
And of course, on the national television, now Putin is saying that we're going to have the revenge for the Crimean bridge. And that's why he said after the whole Ukraine was basically on fire from the rockets, he says, oh, well, you blew our bridge. And the reaction of people in Telegram was fucking hideous. They're like, oh, yes, you shouldn't be touching the bridge. Oh, yes, people are dying. Oh, we're having fun, blah, blah, blah. Next news. The last news that I have for you is the deputies withdrew the draft on payment of 300,000 rubles to the mobilized. Of course. No one wants to pay you if you're dead, right? No one needs to pay you. The bill, which established a number of measures for the social and material support of the mobilized, was withdrawn from consideration in the State Duma. Of course, guys, in case you still want to go to war, why would you do it? And please don't. Please don't. We actually finally know that Russia is a terrorist state officially, because this one over here. Sorry that today's video is so puzzle-headed and chaotic. Let me know if you like the video. Let me know if you don't. Of course, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, do whatever you want. And great, more news are coming up and more travel videos are coming up, so stay tuned. Bye! It has been LuckyOne.